Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we are going to be going over my ultimate car customization guide for the new vehicles that were just released with Grand Theft Auto Online's Cunning Stunts DLC. That's right, so there was a lot of epic new vehicles released in this update, and I'm going to be going over all the unique customization, paint jobs, and a whole lot more that'll make your cars look amazing in online. The only three vehicles that I'm going to be skipping are the stock cars that have been added from GTA 5 single player. So the Burger Shot Stallion, the Pizvazzer Dominator, and the Redwood Gauntlet, I'm going to be skipping over because their customization is exactly the same as the three vehicles that have been in the game since day one. If you want to see the customization for those unique stock cars, I'll leave links to them in the description. But because we have so many other new vehicles to go over, we're not going to be including them in this video. But with out of the way, let's not waste any more time and let's get it started. All right, vehicle number one we're going over today is the ETR1 Supercar, coming in at a price tag of $1,995,000, essentially $2 million. I'm not sure why Rockstar just doesn't call it $2 million. It has two liveries that you can choose from at the Legendary Motorsports site: the Dense livery, which is a red and white theme from the start, and the Chronos theme, which is a kind of aqua blue and white theme from the start. Both of them are really cool. You can't go wrong with either one of them. So once we bring this car into the Los Santos custom shop, the ETR has 20 customization options, which is pretty cool. The first unique option to this vehicle is the bumper. So there's two options you can apply: racing canards and also canards and an intercooler, although I personally prefer the stock option for both of those. And on the rear bumper, you can choose to apply a tow hook, which is exactly what I went for on this. I felt the tow hook looked cool, so that's exactly what I went for. Up next, you can upgrade the exhaust with the one exhaust option, the titanium exhaust. Other than that, there is nothing else to choose from. After that, you can choose the carbon hood or stock hood. Again, unless you're going for a non-livery version, I think the carbon hood looks really dumb on this car because it covers over that beautiful livery that Rockstar provided us. So I just go with the stock hood. Up next, we've obviously got options for the livery, Dense and Chronos, which you can choose between either one that you want. We've also got a pretty unique option on this car, which is mirrors. So there's a few options for the mirrors. There's color-coded, there's carbon, custom, and then, of course, the stock ones. So the custom ones are kind of cool. They actually take on a different shape. The carbon ones are obviously carbon fiber, and then the color-coded ones will take off any secondary color that you choose to apply to this vehicle. So that's one thing you can do if you want to try and match your colors or you want to change up a shape. I think I really like the stock ones as well as the carbon fiber ones and the color-coded ones. I'm not sure I love the custom ones, just not sure they fit the feel of the car for me, but those are some of the crazy cool options you can do with the mirrors and both the colors right there. After we finalized our color, which I just kept kind of the aqua blue and white combination going, we need to move on to spoilers. There's quite a few spoiler options. You have stock, you have an option to remove the spoiler, a low-level spoiler, drift wing, or a GT wing. Now, I personally like the GT wing because it has the awesome kind of Chronos logo on the back, which I think looks really great and ties into the front logos on the car. But if you wanted to do something more simple, like a stock spoiler, or even remove it altogether, the car still does look pretty nice. Now, other than that, the only thing I did was keep the stock wheels, which is a theme you'll see me do throughout the rest of the vehicles here because I do think they look so nice. And that was it. That was my final design, my turquoise, blue, and white ETR1 supercar. This one is pretty awesome, has probably the best customization out of the supercars, and in my opinion, probably looks the best of them too. So this is really epic, and it is our first supercar that we're customizing today. Supercar number two we're looking at today is our most expensive, one of the most hyped as well, the Progen Tyrus, coming in at $2,550,000. So that is a very, very pricey vehicle for what you're getting. It also has two livery choices. It has Debonair cigarettes, and it also has Fukuru. My personal favorite is the Fukuru, but if you're a fan of kind of a darker color with the gray and the Debonair logo on the side, then the Debonair logo or livery might be the one for you. However, I went with the Fukuru. Now, once we get this vehicle inside the Los Santos custom shop, there are 18 options for us to choose from, which is kind of cool. The first unique one is the exhaust. So we have the option between stock, oval, race, and chrome tip. I think that stock and chrome tip look the best, so if you choose between those, you certainly can't go wrong. Once again, we've got our liveries, Debonair and Fukuru. You can also go for none if you wish, but again, I like the liveries on these race cars. I think they make them look super cool, so that's that. The only other unique option to this vehicle is the spoiler. There's an option for stock Extreme Downforce BGW, and then Enhanced GT. Now, I personally like the stock one. Once again, it keeps that logo on there that I think looks really good. However, if you do want to touch a carbon fiber on the car, then I think you will maybe want to go for the Enhanced GT or the Extreme Downforce. But I like the stock. I feel like it fits the car a little bit better. And other than that, like I mentioned, I kept the stock wheels on the car because I think they look better than any of the other options that could be applied on there. So at the end of the day, not many changes made on here. Simply switched up the paint job a little bit, kept mostly the stock options. This is the Progen Tyrus Supercar, number 2 that we're featuring today, and in my opinion, one of the best looking ones that Rockstar have ever added into the game. Supercar number 3 today is the Anis RE7B, coming in with a price tag of $2,475,000. This car is definitely the most interesting looking with its exciting gull wing doors, another feature that I really like with this car. So it has 2 liveries. It has the Estancia livery and the Pegasus livery. Both of these I really like. I don't think you could go wrong with either one. So if you want to go with Estancia, that totally works. If you want to go with Pegasus, you can do that too. Now, once you get this vehicle inside the LSC, it's got 17 customization options, the fewest out of the supercars we've seen, with really the only 2 unique options being exhaust and the spoiler. So with the exhaust option, you've got one choice, which is titanium tuner. So I thought that looked better than the stock, so that's what I went for. After that, you've obviously got the choice of livery, whether you want to choose from the Estancia or Pegasus. Once again, that can be done on the website, and it can also be done in the Los Santos Custom Shop for a small fee. So I think I switched to the Estancia here just to give it a little bit of a twist. And then the last thing we were ultimately able to do on this car is change up the spoiler. Now, there's only one spoiler option, and I don't necessarily like it. It's the carbon tail, and it takes away that really cool, livery logo that's placed on the spoiler when the stock option is applied. So I like a lot of the stock options here, and I don't think that's a bad thing. You guys might like some of the more custom options, but I'm more of a kind of a stock guy when it comes to stuff like that. So that was our final product right there. Again, I kept the stock wheels as well because they're these really cool, like thick race car tires with the 2 kind of gold atomic logos on there. So that looks pretty neat, and that was my final product right there after putting a wine red dark color on there. So this is the Anis RE7B. I think it's a really great looking supercar. The gull wing doors look awesome. The liveries are super cool, and it's the final supercar that we're going to be customizing today, and the last one we're looking at from the Cunning Stunts DLC. Let's switch gears a little bit. We're heading over to the sports cars. Our first one today is the Obey Omnis, which is priced at a very awkward $701,000. Not exactly sure why it was priced like that, but it is. Comes with 2 options for liveries, retro and then classic. I think I like the retro a little bit more than the classic. You'll see me use both of them in this video today. Both of them are pretty cool, but I think I like the retro just a tiny bit more. So 18 options in total, starting with the exhaust. Again, there's only one exhaust option, which turns out to be the theme of many of the vehicles here. So I applied that exhaust option. You've obviously got the choice between the different liveries, classic and retro. Again, I think the retro is a little bit cooler, but both of them look really great in my opinion. So once we've got the liveries, we've got option for the spoiler, which is where things get really crazy because you have a stock option, an option to remove them, or an OTT one, which is like a double spoiler. I've never seen anything like this in my life. So for me, when I saw this originally, I was like, whoa, that is super cool. So you've obviously got that crazy spoiler option right there. But as far as everything else goes, that's pretty much it. I just kept the stock wheels, which look really great because they have the Rally logo on there, which obviously doesn't come on any other wheel in the game. So if you want to keep that, you need to keep the stock tires. And that's our final product right there, the Obey Omnis, which looks pretty cool and is really fun to use in racing. You can play around again with the primary and secondary colors to get some cool options. And I felt that if you keep sort of like the similar designs that they use on the website, that you get some really cool paint job combinations here. Sports car number 2 is the Lampadati Tropos Rally. So this was a very highly anticipated vehicle to be added into the game. Comes in at $816,000. Again, a very random price tag for this car. Not exactly sure what Rockstar's thinking was there, but it's got 2 livery options from the site. You've got the Air Hurler and then the Stronzo. I personally love the way the Stronzo looks because I think it like represents the Italian flag a little bit, or maybe an Italian brand. No clue, but Air Hurler also looks really great white with the classic kind of red, white, and blue theme. So that is a pretty epic car right there. And when we take it into the Los Santos Custom Shop, it does not disappoint either, coming in with 20 categories of customization. So we can start with the exhaust, which is pretty nice, giving us an option of stock, chrome tip, or titanium tuner. Titanium tuner, once again, I think looks best here, so that's exactly what I went for. We also have the option to upgrade the grille, which allows us to add the rally fogs to the front of this car, which look awesome with those pop-up headlights. Again, that's a really cool feature that was added with this vehicle. And we can also change an option to the hood as well. So you can choose between stock and vented. Now, I personally think the vented is a little overkill, so I went with the stock option for the hood. But again, you can simply decide to choose whatever you want. We've also got an option for the roof. We can choose between the stock roof and the unpainted louvers. So again, I like the painted ones, the stock options. Why not continue the livery instead of making it that unpainted black look? But if you are going for a sleeker, low profile look, the unpainted option might not be a bad one at all. Let's move on to the spoiler, which is a little unique because it's on the roof. So you have an option for none. You can remove the roof spoiler altogether, which will smooth out the roof. And then you could do an extended spoiler, which is definitely the most noticeable out of the three. So again, I think I went with the remove roof spoiler. Again, I lost a little bit of traction there, but you can go with the stock one and it still doesn't look bad at all. None of the options are going to look bad on these cars. It's all, again, once again, to your personal preference and choosing. And then last but not least, again, I just kept the stock wheels. I think they look really good. I couldn't find anything else I really liked in either off-road or sports that fit the car really well. So I stayed with the stock wheel option that Rockstar provided, and that's that. That is the Lampadati Tropos Rally. Really, really great vehicle. I absolutely love this car. The two liveries look amazing, and it is a blast to drive in game, and obviously with the stunt races also. Our next vehicle on the list today is the Fiat, the Grandi Brioso RA. This is such a little fun car to drive in game, and it's even better to customize in the shop. So it's $155,000, which is not that expensive at all. Comes with two really awesome liveries, atomic tires and sprunk. I originally really liked the sprunk, but I think I found a great color for the atomic tires that works really well. It's also kind of red, white, and blue theme, so we're just past Independence Day, which makes that kind of nice. And once again, when we take it into the Los Santos Custom Shop, it definitely does not disappoint because there is 20 different customization categories, a lot of unique ones to the car as well, starting with the bumpers where we have both front and rear bumpers. Now in the front bumpers, we've got street, race, and drift bumper as well as the stock option. I really like the drift bumper, so that's the exact same one that I went with in this video. And we've also got a rear bumper option, which allows us to add a carbon diffuser, which is quite nice. Now, after we've done the bumpers, we can move on to the hood. There's option for stock, obviously, smooth, twin vented, and then extreme vented. I think my favorite was twin vented here, but if you want a smoother look, then the stock or smooth is obviously your best bet. After that, we wanted to move on to the livery. Again, I told you I was kind of flip-flopping between atomic and sprunk. Either one, the ones you go for is going to look great. And at the end of the day, I just ended up with kind of a nice blue color to finish it off. Now, we can actually add options to the roof, which is kind of cool. So you have stock, carbon roof vent, long carbon roof vent, and then dual roof vent, which I think is kind of neat. Again, if you're going for a smoother look, you might want to just keep the stock roof option, but at the end of the day, that still looks pretty good. And then last but not least, we've got some options for the spoiler. You can obviously choose none, which there's still kind of a little spoiler on there, even though you choose none, low-level spoiler, and then mid-level spoiler. I think I went with mid-level spoiler just because I was going for kind of an extreme look, but at the end of the day, it still looks really nice. I kept the stock wheels on there, and that's that. That is the new Grandi Fiat vehicle that's been added into the game. The atomic logo looks amazing. The sprunk one will look amazing on there too, so no matter what you do, it's going to look great, but I really like the kind of blue, white, and red theme that this atomic tire gave me, so that's the exact one that I went with in this video. Okay, moving on, it's time for the trophy truck. So the first one today is the Vapid trophy truck coming in at $550,000. So there's two different liveries that you can unlock. You get the Vapid racing one and the Western motorcycle. So at first I really thought I liked the Western motorcycle, and then I started really falling in love with the Vapid racing. You'll kind of see it in this video, but both of them look absolutely incredible. So no matter which one you go for, you're gonna have a great looking car. Now, unfortunately, with the rest of the vehicles that we're going to be talking about in this video, there's not a lot of customization options. In fact, there isn't outside of changing the wheels, the paint job, and the livery. So that's going to apply for every vehicle that we have going forward. The Vapid Trophy Truck is one of those that just doesn't have a lot of customization, even though it is a really, really great looking car and it performs really well also. Rockstar just didn't give it a lot of options in the LSC. And that kind of leads us to our next car, which is the Vapid Desert Raid, which unfortunately falls into the exact same boat. So it can be purchased on the Southern San Andreas Super Auto site for nearly $700,000. It's got 2 liveries, Drone and Badger. And although it looks really cool, as I mentioned, once you take it into the Los Santos custom shop, you might be slightly disappointed in the lack of customization you can do. Basically, the only thing you can do for these cars is change the livery and make a paint job that looks slightly applicable, or change it up to whatever you want. So as I mentioned, unfortunately, that's kind of the hand that these cars were dealt, with just not a lot of customization. But it's hard to complain when we have gotten so many new vehicles in this update. So moving on, last but not least, we've got our 2 motorcycles. The first one is the Nagasaki BF 400, which comes in at a price tag of $95,000, which is very cheap and very affordable. It's one of the reasons I like this. Now, it's got 2 liveries to choose from, Atomic and Sprunk, some of my 2 favorite brands in the game. You cannot go wrong with Atomic or Sprunk. Both of them look really good. Unfortunately, once again, when you do take this into the LSC, you're going to notice that really the only thing you can do is change the livery and then get a paint job that sort of matches up with the kind of style you're going for. So like I said, no customization options that you can do whatsoever, but it is still, at the end of the day, a pretty cool bike and pretty cheap as well. And finally, last but not least, we've got another motorcycle, the Western Gargoyle. So the Western Gargoyle is a little bit more expensive, coming in at $120,000. It's also got 2 liveries to choose from, which is kind of interesting because they're very similar. You have Gargoyle and then Gargoyle Vintage, which kind of just changes the paint job a little bit from a darker to like a lighter, and then the number on the front from 69 to 77. Now, inside of the Los Santos custom shop, once again, does not have a lot of customization, but what I noticed is it's hard to change the paint job on this. No matter what color I chose, it did not seem to stick to this vehicle. So I have no clue what's going on in terms of if it's just not meant to have good paint jobs or what, but I could not get this vehicle to get a color that would show past the livery. However, that's all the vehicles that we're going to be going over in today's ultimate customization guide for the Cunning Stunts DLC. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully it gave you a better idea of what to expect for the cars if you are going to be purchasing them, because they are, at the end of the day, pretty expensive. So let me know which vehicle is your favorite in the comment section down below. If you did go on to enjoy this video, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. Really daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.